Coming up on CU Sports Mag, love is in the air.
I don't see it anywhere. Maybe CU basketball found it when they hosted Cal in Utah this past week.
We've got all that and more coming up. Hello, Buff fans, and welcome to this love-filled edition of Sports Mag. I'm your host, Dinora Vendaño Curiel, and with me is Andrew Hobner, ready to bring you up to date on everything CU Sports.
Thanks, Sonora, and a happy Valentine's Day weekend to everyone. In the midst of a rough winter for CU Sports, the Buffaloes basketball team could use some love after a less than stellar first half of the season. They hosted the Cal Golden Bears Thursday night, looking to rediscover their edge. It was a tough night for CU. Cal really had just a fantastic night, phenomenal. 45.5% shooting, but Josh Scott in his second game back was one of the bright spots. 17 points, 8 rebounds on the night, on a night when not a lot of other Buffs were scoring, but this was the story. Cal's 3 efforts, as I said, 45.5%, Sam Singer hits it, but CU would not go down without a fight. DT over to Torrey Miller, one of his 4 points of the night. And I love this, Dom Collier, circus shot with 2 minutes left in the half, and it just doesn't get much better than that.
And we've got California going in for that layup. They're trying, CU's trying, passes it down and makes that 3 into that basket. Then you've got Jordan Matthews making the steal, going in for that easy layup. What happened there, Bucks? What happened? Then you've got, they're on there, and makes it that easy layup into the other team. Dustin Thomas going out. They're on their feet. CU's on their feet, passing it out, going in, and he misses, unfortunately. It was a rough game. CU definitely tried. Here we got the final stats. Colorado 61-68, 7-point loss. On Buffalo's Josh Scott, 17 points. He's got 8 rebounds. And then you've got Askia Booker with 11 points and 2 rebounds. And then the Bears side, you've got Jordan Matthews, 19 points. Tyron Wallace with 16 points and 4 rebounds.
With the loss, the Buffs officially dropped to under 500 on the season. That is their lowest since the 2011-2012 campaign. Head coach Tad Boyle was blunt in the post-game press conference about how his team has been playing.
And we got to figure this thing out because we've got players that are capable of getting it done, but we're not. And so as a coach, that's extremely frustrating because I think we've all seen stretches. You can go down man for man on our roster of guys who are capable of playing at a higher level than what we're playing at right now.
And although the men's basketball team lost to California on Thursday night, they were happy to have their center back after missing 8 of the past 9 games with a back injury. Josh Scott returned to play last Saturday against Utah and played at full strength against Cal. The junior forward scored 10 points and grabbed 7 boards in 23 minutes of the bench. However, that was the only bright spot in the worst home defeat at Tad Boyle's time at CU. Against Cal, Scott led the team with 17 points and 8 rebounds in their loss, 68-61. While the return of Scott may have helped the team slightly, last Saturday the Buffs faced number 11 Utah.
That's right, Denora. CU took on one on the chin hard the last time they played the Utes, losing 74-49 in Salt Lake City. They would look to turn the tables when CU hosted the second leg of the series in Boulder. It was a difficult go for the Buffs. Utah started off this game as fast as you probably could. Brendan Taylor over to Jacob Podol, 7 points for him on the night. But CU did have a bright spot. That was Dom Collier. The freshman had 11 points on the game, and CU tried desperately to get back in this one. XJ with the and one and the hype. He's hyped up. I'm hyped up until you see how good DeLon Wright played in front of various NBA scouts. 9 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists on the night. And Brandon Taylor, 18 points, hitting it to end the half. 35-23 lead for Utah at half.
But CU still is coming up. They've got that pass right there, that slam dunk by Hopkins, making sure his fingers are all right. CU is still, but like I said again, D. Wright going in, making that saucy in pass, faking it. Chris Reyes goes in for that layup. CU is still trying to get back on their feet, There's that pass to Xavier Johnson, goes in and slams that three into the basket. What a shot. Even then, we got that steal from Johnson goes in, and the backhanded layup to make that 2-point shot. And even without this game and Utes going in, the Buffs just simply could not finish out. We've got the final stats of the game, 51-79, Colorado losing. Dominique Collier with 11 points and 4 rebounds. Josh Scott, 10 points and 7 rebounds. And on the Utes, their big player, Brandon Taylor, with 18 points, and Jordan Loveridge, 11 points with 10 rebounds.
Utah's score of 79 was the highest total CU has allowed in regulation this season. As for Boyle and the players, there wasn't much to talk about after the game.
Very surprising. I don't think any of us thought that was going to happen. We never think we're going to lose at home. We're very good at home, and we didn't play well. It's embarrassing.
And nobody feels sorry for the Colorado Buffaloes right now. And we're sure as heck not going to feel sorry for ourselves. We just got to figure out how to get better, and that's my challenge.
It is a challenge for the Buffaloes. There's no denying that there have been a multitude of questions surrounding the CU men's basketball team this season. But one important intangible force has been the injury bug that has hit CU hard this year. In their Thursday loss to Cal, the Buffs played with a full lineup for the first time since January 7th. Center Josh Scott was out for 3 weeks with back spasms, while the other 2 members of CU's Big Three, Askia Booker and Xavier Johnson, have been hit with small but persistent injuries. Booker was out against Utah with a hip pointer. With 7 games left on the schedule, CU looks slated to finally have a consistent lineup, which will lead, hopefully, to some results down this last stretch.
And you know what, Hobbs? I have a question. Now that CU has a fully healthy team, can they really make a run at the NCAA tournament?
No, sorry. And Ansley Guthrie is in studio answering all of your pressing questions on CU athletics, including basketball. Stick around. I'm sorry. I saw that
who join the Peace Corps are usually very adventurous people, very outdoorsy. They usually are very caring, very passionate people.
For the second year in a row, CU Boulder has outproduced all other universities in the nation, both big and small, in the number of alumni who are serving as Peace Corps volunteers. That's a very, very important thing for us.
Peace Corps continues to be the gold standard for international volunteer service. It's Americans making a difference around the world, and many of those Americans have come from this great university.
I'm not sure if it's the beautiful setting or the mountains or the weather, but one thing's for sure, there's a special civic pride on this campus.
The great spirit of volunteerism here on campus and internationalism that you find here really just kind of brings Peace Corps out a little more than it does on other campuses, I think.
You should be very proud to come from a campus that inspires so much public service and collectively works to build a better world.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Good nutrition can lead to great things. Find out how a healthy lifestyle can help your child succeed.
And with all these injured players, is there any hope left for the CU men's basketball team to advance to the NCAA tournament? Forrest Cobble and Cyrus Allen discuss what it will take for the Buffs to flip their odds in this week's edition of Double Team.
Thank you, and welcome to another edition of Double Team. I'm your host, Cyrus Allen, and I'm here with Forrest Cobble. Now, Forrest, you're telling me earlier you have a dream.
That's right, Cyrus. I do have a dream, and that dream is for the Buffs to make the NCAA tournament.
Quite the dream.
Yes, it may take a miracle, but I think it's possible. I think for the Buffs to make the tournament, they're going to need to do a couple of things. For one, they're going to need to beat that ranked team. You know, the selection committee really wants the teams that it selects to be able to beat those top 25 teams, maybe pull off an upset.
We've done that 0 times this season.
Right, but we will have a chance. But the second thing is that the Buffs are going to need to pull off a winning streak. You know, the NCAA tournament selection committee really likes when teams will have a momentum change midway through the season. You know, maybe they'll be struggling earlier on, but they'll come together and they'll go on a win streak, and then they can have that, you know, Cinderella story, which is always big news for.
Yeah, and you know, our remaining schedule really gives us a chance to get on that streak towards the end of the season and really end on a good note. All the teams we play right here, they all have winning records except for one, Washington State right there. And obviously the big game in there is Arizona at home, which we got to win. We got to beat them. How are we going to do that?
Right. Well, when I look at how we can beat Arizona, I think that we should take the strategy that has worked against Arizona in the past. So if you look at their losses to UNLV, Oregon State, and ASU, all three of those teams have been very aggressive in the lane. They've made sure to pound the inside and go towards the basket. They've really displayed very aggressive down-low defense. And the Wildcats' defense revolves around center Caleb Tarczewski.
It's a big man.
Exactly. He's 7 feet tall, 240 pounds, and so his game is a very physical style of defense. He's great on the block, but where he's weakest is he doesn't have great footwork yet. He's still developing the skill part of the game. So where he's weakest is on the weak side of the court. He's not great getting over there for the block, and he doesn't have the length that a lot of the centers do, which contributes to that weakness. So I look for CU to play very unselfish basketball and pass the ball a lot and try to attack the weak side of the court to utilize Tarczewski's weakness.
His name just scares me, Tarczewski. That's enough. I don't want to play him at all. But really, what I look at is the last time we played Arizona, we got out-rebounded 41-26. Right. We got out-rebounded by 15. We shot 500 from the free throw line. They shot close to 800. Those are areas where we need to improve greatly at. In games where we have out-rebounded the other team by 9, we are 6-2. When we shoot above 700 at the charity stripe, we're 10-3. We got to get our big men in low, get the rebounds, and then get them to the line, and just we got to make them. Josh Scott and Wes Gordon got to come up big. They have to make their shots, make their free throws, and then I think we can definitely get a win.
And I agree, and I think that Arizona will get tired in the second half due to the elevation at Coors Event Center, and also due to if we play a very physical and attacking style of offense. And I think that is where we're going to beat them, in our offense versus their defense. That battle is going to be the determiner, because I don't think that Arizona is going to make mistakes on offense. You know, they're 10th in the league in shooting percentage at 49%, and they aren't going to beat themselves on offense. So we really have to utilize that weakness on the inside defensive weak side. So, yeah.
You know, who knows? Maybe we get healthy through this last stretch.
Right.
Skia comes back.
Right.
We make a run. We might be all right. But you know, you've heard of Miracle on Ice. Well, now prepare for Miracle on Wood. Those home games are going to be big. We're going to need everyone to get out there and support our Buffs, and you get the win. So that's going to do it for us with Double Team. I'm Cyrus. This is Forrest. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, guys. CU still has 7 games left to play, so only time will tell if the tournament run is in cards for Tad Boyle and his team.
After dropping games to both of the Southern California schools back in January, the CU women's basketball team looked to get some revenge on the away trip. Unfortunately, bad ball security stalled the Buffs offense, who dropped both games on the road. The first to UCLA by a score of 72-65, in which Jamie Swan scored 17 points, but it wasn't enough to stop UCLA and guard Nira Fields, who scored 24 with that loss in hand. With that loss in hand, CU traveled down the road to Pasadena to face the USC Trojans. But ball security haunted the Buffs again, who coughed up the ball 22 times, resulting in 22 points off turnovers for the women of Troy. CU now has a 4-game home stretch before ending the regular season in Arizona.
On a positive note, the women's basketball team will be hosting the Play for K game to raise money to help in the fight against breast cancer. The team will be giving away pink t-shirts to the first 1,000 fans, and breast cancer survivors will be honored at halftime. The Buffs face the Washington State Cougars at Coors Event Center at 7 p.m. If you wear pink to the game, you can get a $5 discount off your ticket. So come out and show your support to our ladies and cancer survivors.
If you've been paying attention to the show, you know that I love the band. Most of all, the super duper tuba cheer. So this week's trivia question is for you Golden Buffalo Marching Band fans out there. We want to know, What were the original words to the University of Colorado fight song? It might be a little too late for the men's basketball team, who are at long last finally playing with their big three healthy again. So what is necessary to finish off this season strong? Ansley Guthrie is in studio to answer all of your questions in this week's Buff Banner.
Hey Buff fans, and welcome to this week's edition of Buff Banner. My name is Ansley Guthrie, and I'm here to answer your questions from our Twitter page. And this week, I'm going to answer some questions about the men's basketball team. Our first question comes from Monica Stanley. She asks, how do you think the return of Josh Scott will affect our team? Well, Monica, since we've had players out with injuries for every game since the start of the year, the return of Josh Scott will give the Buffs a full lineup for the first time since the new year. Coach Tad Boyle thinks there may only be 2 guys in the Pac-12 that can guard Scott one-on-one when he is healthy. So that means more opportunities for some points on the board besides ones from Askia Booker. Having Scott back is going to be nice, but he might be a little rusty after not being able to play or work out much for a full month. But rusty Josh Scott is better than no Josh Scott. And our next question comes from Dylan Alexander. He asks, what should the men's basketball team do in order to up their game? And that's a great question, Dylan. And who better to say than the coach himself? After Wednesday's practice, Boyle told the team that it's time to start making some sacrifices. He firmly advised the players to spend more time working out and, well, less time playing video games. Is that harsh? I don't think so. But considering our 11-11 record compared to our 21-12 record from last season. On top of going to the gym more, the men's basketball team also needs to start utilizing the front court more with all of our top players like Josh Scott, Xavier Johnson, and Dustin Thomas, as well as start shooters in the backcourt like Askia Booker, Dominic Collier, and Eli Stalzer working on those free throws and their accuracy. With thinking more about their team and fellow members, as well as living up to the potential they have on the court, the Colorado team could easily step up their game. The Buffaloes definitely have potential and some great players, but in order to take home the win, they need to put the team first. And that's all the time I have for this week's edition of Buff Banner, but I'm Ansley Guthrie, and back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Ansley. The men's team concludes their home stretch this weekend against Stanford on Sunday, February 15th. After taking on the Cardinals, they will go on the road to face the Oregon schools and then return home to host Arizona and Arizona State. The Buffs conclude their regular season in Washington before the Pac-12 tournament starts on Wednesday, March 11th.
It's warm outside, so that can only mean that spring sports are on their way. And yes, that includes lacrosse.
And football, too. And one CU track and field star proves that being a Division I athlete is more than playing a sport well. Coming up on Sports Mag.
We won 24 NCAA championships, sent 18 NASA astronauts into space, inspired 4 Nobel laureates, unlocked the genetic secrets of cancer in a place that averages over 300 days of sunshine a year, ranks as America's smartest and healthiest city, and is home to the mightiest mascot in college sports. If you didn't know what the University of Colorado is all about, now you do.
You believe this guy?
Are you trying to start a wildfire?
Being a college athlete takes a great amount of skill, but to really shine means being more than just a talented athlete. Laura Kuchowski spent some time with track and field star Alex Kizirian to learn the spirit it takes to be a Division I athlete.
Alex Kizirian has quickly become known as a prominent name among CU athletics for more than just his athletic capabilities in the track and field team, and he is much more than just a man breaking school records.
Alex Kizirian is a walk-on chemical engineering student for us here at the University of Colorado. He's turned out to be an exceptional weight thrower. He's also a discus thrower, shot put thrower as well, and hammer. And weight and hammer are his best. They're events that he didn't do in high school, but he's found kind of his hidden talent in those events, and since then has gone on to break the school record, throwing over 70 feet in the weight.
While he shines through the weight throw and continues breaking records, he owes all of his credit to hard work and those who support him.
Of course, it's been a great experience. It's been really fun seeing hard work pay off. And I mean, I really owe it to the tremendous support I've had here from the staff at the athletic department and my coach and my teammates. I mean, I love the environment we have at practice. We're very supportive of each other, and it's just been very fun to see physical results from our hard work.
Alex stands apart from other athletes, not only for his ability, but his humble nature.
And even though he is extremely talented and extremely athletically blessed, there's never been a day that he hasn't been pretty much one of the hardest workers on the team since day one. And so that's really been exceptionally helpful for him to excel in this demanding sport, but it's also created a leadership role for him on the team. And he started just by leading by example.
While Alex may be in his last season at CU, his legacy will remain in the school record books. Laura Kuchkowski, CU SportsMag.
Alex will be competing this weekend along with the rest of the track and field team. He will be shooting to break his previous school records of 70 feet 8 inches.
6 cross-country buffs were placed on the USTFCCCA's all-academic team for the 2014 season. With the help of these honorees, this is the Buffs' second straight NCAA cross-country title. To be an honoree, students must maintain a cumulative 3.25 GPA or higher and have to finish in the top 10% of their regional meets. The women's team also earned All-American status by maintaining a cumulative 3.36 GPA. While they may have placed third at the Pac-12 championships, the Buffs did take home the NCAA Mountain Region championship title.
And on Wednesday, the CU lacrosse team struck out a win against DU for the first game of the season. Unfortunately, Colorado couldn't keep up with Denver's powerful offense, and as a result, DU carried a 5-2 lead by halftime. CU held the Pioneers to 2 goals in the first half, but ended up losing the game 10-6. Colorado's next quest to victory is Saturday, February 14th in Kittredge Field at noon, so be sure to go out and support your CU Buffs. What's next on SportsMag? I'm glad you asked. The New Look CU football team is starting their spring practices.
New Look. I love New Look. And we also have our very own Steve Nelson to give us a look at our upcoming games in Rapid Fire. Stay tuned.
It's getting a little hot in here, but don't go anywhere because Rapid Fire is going to be back after a quick break. Geez, somebody turn up the AC.
We won 24 NCAA championships, sent 18 NASA astronauts into space, inspired 4 Nobel laureates, unlocked the genetic secrets of cancer in a place that averages over 300 days of sunshine a year, ranks as America's smartest and healthiest city. and is home to the mightiest mascot in college sports. If you didn't know what the University of Colorado is all about, now you do.
This house was almost saved from a fire that was almost put out by neighbors who almost volunteered. As generous a nation as we are, sometimes instead of giving, we almost give. But almost giving is the same as not giving at all.
Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys are much too much. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We're going to beat them and bust them. Beat them.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Let's get a little bit rowdy. R-O-W-D-Y.
Take time to be a
One
dad
more time.
today.
Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys.
After a quiet week, CU Athletics are back to competing in the Pac-12. Our own Steve Nelson is turning up the heat and previewing this week's game on this segment of Rapid Fire.
What's up, Buff fans? I'm Steve Nelson here for another edition of Rapid Fire. Let's see what games are coming up this week. First of all, on Saturday, it's going to be Valentine's Day, and at noon, the women's lacrosse team is taking on Marquette at home in their second game of the season. Keep your eyes on Joanna Fusco. She was last season's top scorer with 45 goals. Next up on Sunday, the women's tennis team is taking on New Mexico right here in Boulder at 11 a.m. Fun fact, they shut out CSU earlier in February, so let's hope they keep riding that high and get us some more wins. But if tennis isn't your thing, Sunday is going to be a big day for basketball in the Coors Event Center. At 2 p.m., the men are taking on Stanford. All eyes are going to be on Josh Scott, who's freshly back from an injury with a vengeance. Hopefully the Buffs can add a much-needed win to their record. It's going to be a great battle. But don't go anywhere, because the women's basketball team plays in Coors on Sunday at 5:30. We're currently looking to scoring leader Jamie Swan to land some buckets and add another win to their record. Well, that's all the time I have for today. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Steve. CU football training camp officially kicks off Monday, February 16th. And this season, a lot of changes are coming the Buffs' way. For starters, Coach McIntyre will have a new defense coordinator at his side, Jim Leavitt. Also joining the Buffalo Herd this year are 19 new recruits. 6 of them are projected to make an immediate impact on the field. But the biggest change might be on the defense, where the team will be playing in Leavitt's 3-4 scheme. Practices will lead up to the spring game, which will be played on March 16th.
Band fans, it's the moment you have all been waiting for. This week's trivia answer. Just to refresh you all, we asked earlier in the show, what are the original words to the CU fight song? You know how it goes. Fight CU down the field, CU must win, fight, fight for victory. Well, stop right there, because it was originally fight CU down the field, CU must win, fight, fight for every yard. The original fight song was originally only sung for the football team, but became so popular with students and people alike that it was changed to the official fight song of all CU sports. Fight, fight for every yard was changed to fight, fight for victory to appeal to all sports. Shoulder to shoulder, I guess.
And in case you haven't found a date for this Valentine's Day, don't you worry, you're probably not alone. In fact, you're in luck, because this week's Tweet of the Week comes to us from none other than Chip the Buffalo. He's been in the mood for tweeting cheesy pickup lines to help you fellas and ladies out there get the date you want. This time he's asking, on a scale of 1 to America, how free are you on a Saturday night? Oh, Chip, he does have a way with words.
You know, what I love about that is how you can use it basically anywhere. I'm writing that down to use on the 4th of July. I mean, who's turning down America on the 4th of July? No one. That's who.
Well, good luck with that. Unfortunately, it's all the time we've got, and we must say goodbye. But have a wonderful Valentine's Day weekend, Buff fans, and we'll see you next week.